Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. And once you're done, leave a comment down below and I just might end up responding. Another year, another roster. Every single passing year, we've seen the WWE personnel list shaken up, even if just slightly. This year has already seen the return of names like Big Show and MVP, so with WWE getting the jump and shaking things up a little bit early, Watch WWE's here to follow suit. I'm D Wicket from aforementioned Watch WWE, and here's 10 WWE wrestlers who just might end up retiring this year. Number 10, Triple H. While the game has slowly been transitioning into more and more of a behind-the-scenes role ever since 2010, we still haven't gone a full calendar year without a match featuring the Cerebral Assassin. 2019 had his lowest number of appearances yet, showing up for just 2 matches, both against former Evolution members, beating Batista at WrestleMania before falling to Randy Orton at Super Showdown. While he's still a big name and I suppose could be a draw to an extent, at least in Saudi, I think I'm just done seeing this man wrestle. I've really never found him that interesting inside the ring, and all his best work for me has been as an authority figure, or way more notably in his role as Papa H of NXT.
WrestleMania, is that what you want?
Give it to me! Give me what I want!
You want me at WrestleMania?
Give me what I want!
You're on!
Number 9, Matt Hardy. Please leave WWE. Please. Okay, listen. Just this week on Monday Night Raw, Matt Hardy came out to defend the honor of Edge against Randy Orton. Orton predictably attacked, which Hardy saw coming and countered, but it couldn't stop him from ending the night on the ground. Orton used to have a move legitimately designed around writing wrestlers off television. If someone was legit hurt or injured, send Orton in there, give him the punt kick, but ever since that move got banned, I'd like to really hope that concerto that Orton just gave Matt Hardy was to write him off TV. You've got one of wrestling's most creative minds jobbing out to the roster on a weekly basis. Get him the hell out of there. Number 8, Jeff Hardy. And what's one without the other? Jeff, get out of this company too. While the long-time, more popular Hardy brother has a bit higher chance of getting used properly once he returns, I don't really think WWE is the right company for this guy either. Mostly because at this point in life, he really shouldn't be doing those insane risks that made him famous. His best role this decade was probably paired alongside Matt as Brother Nero, so I'd really like to see Jeff end up in whatever company Matt inevitably ships himself off to. Also, maybe it'll be a company that actually tries to help Jeff fight his demons, because wouldn't that be nice?
What? Oh my! You gotta be kidding me!
Number 7, The Undertaker. Christ's sake, let the man rest already. For a dude who's literally said rest in peace more than anything else throughout his entire career, he's really not doing a lot of resting. Remember when he just kind of showed up and tagged with Roman Reigns last year? Yeah, that was pretty stupid, huh? It's a weird landscape these days in wrestling because these Saudi shows have the ability to revitalize pretty much any wrestler from yesteryear and give them something really worth going to. Those Saudi paychecks are no joke. So while I'm not positive that names like Taker will finally take his last ride, I couldn't think of a better way for him to retire than going out, putting over this generation's demonic phenom, The Fiend.
The next one to interrupt me is a dead man.
Number 6, Shelton Benjamin. At one point in time, you could have made a strong case that Shelton Benjamin wasn't just the most easily overlooked and underutilized wrestler of his day, but he might have been just the best wrestler, on the planet. The dude's athletic abilities were paralleled to absolutely no one, and only for a month stretch was that even shown off properly. He really was the Cesaro of the 2000s, with both of them not getting a strong push due pretty much just to the one thing they lacked: charisma. Nowadays, Shelton isn't exactly in his prime, but the dude can still go and has a lot of value to offer. Shelton in New Japan or AEW would be fascinating as hell, as he seems like the perfect kind of guy to pass lessons on to the younger names of a locker room.
Oh my God! A German suplex!
That's Shelton Benjamin from SmackDown Live.
And Benjamin again with another suplex!
Number 5, AJ Styles. A bold pick, surely, but I could definitely see AJ hanging his hat up earlier than we're thinking. One of the top talents in the entire world, you'd pretty much have to Google his name to realize the dude is already 42 years old. He could pass for 32, while others have continued wrestling on much longer than that. I don't know, Styles seems like the kind of guy who would want to give his body some rest after holding down that top title, a phenomenal one, for so many years. We already know for certain that Styles isn't signing to a different company company after he's done with WWE, and he might have hinted that he's already signed his final contract. We just don't know when that nail goes in the coffin.
Shoulders down and a near fall. Orton able to roll through. RKO!
Number 4, Rey Mysterio. Dude, give your knees a break, Rey. Like, please. It brings me a lot of joy that my absolute childhood favorite, my number 1 guy as a kid, has completely rejuvenated his career and probably wrestling at his peak again. But he's got way too long a history of injury to keep it up for much longer. Rey's talked about how he knows he doesn't have a lot of time left in the ring. Hell, late last year we saw a story revolve all around Rey's potential retirement and his son one day taking his place. Maybe that day just comes a bit sooner than we think.
You know what it is? It's a miracle! Double 619! Dial it up! This is amazing!
Number 3, Lars Sullivan. Be real, comment section. Who forgot this man existed? Lars Sullivan is sort of a bizarre piece of history at this point in time. Being one of NXT's called up too soons, Lars made a very meh splash onto the main roster in late 2018 by doing the typical monster build WWE falls back on a lot. Did you see Braun Strowman's rise in 2016? Yeah, then you saw Lars's too, because they were the exact same. He did a lot of interfering, a lot of big he fought Lucha House Party a lot. The only real difference between him and Braun is that Lars complained about people calling him a freak, so we liked this one even less.
I've been described by one word. Do you know what that word is, Kayla?
Freak.
He'd go on to fight Lucha House Party even more. I don't know why that's the only feud of his I can remember. It probably went on for all 9 months he was on the main roster before one day no showing an event due to anxiety issues. Afterwards, flame of Lars's controversial past were fanned, and there was a lot of talk that he might have been on his way out of the company. Then, during this period, taking time away from the spotlight, he suffers a massive knee injury that has kept him out of action ever since last June. His injury would have maxed out at 9 months, so any day now, we're either going to see Lars's big return or the big news story about Lars leaving the company, and I think I know which one I'm predicting.
Oh my goodness, Lars Sullivan! Planning angle!
Number 2, The Big Show. Well, it's The Big Show. That was awful. I mentioned his big return earlier this year at the start of the list, so why not bring him back towards the end? The Big Show is currently 48 years old, 7 feet tall, and just shy of 400 pounds. I'm not a doctor, okay? I'm not trying to hand out PhDs, but those don't seem like the stats of a man who should still partake in athletic competition. While it's pretty obvious that Big Show will never be full-on roster member again, I think this year might finally be the year where we get a final match and a Big Show send-off. Maybe we go full circle and we let Braun retire him. Maybe John Cena comes back and does it. Maybe we finally bring in Shaq for that sweet, sweet dream match. However it goes down, Paul White probably shouldn't still be trying to wrestle by the age of 50.
Oh! What a right hand!
And number 1, it's your man Bill Goldberg. Ironically enough, now that I'm thinking about it, Goldberg might be the most unlikely name on this entire list to actually retire this year. Well, him and AJ. Like aforementioned, the whole Saudi Arabia deal being a perfect thing for a dude like Goldberg, who can essentially be retired while popping up once or twice a year for a huge paycheck. The dude's still in great shape, and depending on the opponent, can still put on a Goldberg match. That Dolph Ziggler match was legitimately one of my favorite wrestling moments from all of 2019. So why do I have Goldberg at the top of this list, given everything I've said? Well, it's mostly a hunch, but also, he's facing The Fiend in a couple weeks. And despite everything I have said, I think The Fiend is going to murder this man before going on to retire The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Book it, Vince. I dare ya.
So here's your breaking news. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, you're next!
And those are... What did I just do? And those are 10... And those are 10 WWE wrestlers who may retire in 2020. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below after liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and notifications, ding that bell. I could have been a drummer.